Okay, in this lesson, we're going to go over how to use Kentucky Unbound in the Libby app. Kentucky Unbound is the name of a library consortium. It's ebooks and audiobooks and digital magazines. And Libby is the name of the app that you will search for and add to your phone if you want it. You can read or listen to the content in the Libby app. So to log in, you'll need your library card number and a PIN number. If you don't have these, you can call the library for help. When you get started, you're going to want to search for our library and make sure you put in McCracken County Public Library because there are other McCracken libraries in the system. And so you'll make sure that you get the one that says Kentucky Libraries Unbound. Then it will prompt you for your card number and your PIN. Libby is the app for a service called Overdrive, and they have an app called Overdrive, but they're phasing it out. So if you have the Overdrive app, you're going to need to see if you can get the Libby app on your device instead. And if you can't, you can use this program through your browser. It's just, if you can get the Libby app, it's an easier experience. So after you get logged in, it'll take you to the home screen. In this picture, it's what the home screen looks like. They've made some changes, so if you haven't used it in a while, it may look different. Up at the top, that has some tags for just added and popular, random, and available now. And the subjects is a way where you can just go straight to the subject that you want. Like if you want to browse through the mysteries or the romance novels, you can go straight to the one that you want. If you scroll down, there are collections and they change from time to time. Sometimes there are gardening collections or cookbooks. There might be graphic novels, all kinds of different things. So that will change all the time. So that's worth having a look because they update that regularly. If you see a title that you want, you just tap borrow and it'll check it out. And if it's not available, instead of borrow, it will say place hold. These buttons at the bottom are how you will move around in Libby. The first one is a search. The second one that looks a bit like a building is the library home screen. The one in the middle is notifications. The one that looks like a stack of 2 books is your shelf. And the last one is your history. Those are at the bottom of each screen. When you go to do a search, it will let you set preferences. If you don't set a preference, it'll search everything. So you'll get like adult books and kid books and audiobooks and ebooks and things that are available and things you have to hold on all mixed up. So if you want to search everything, you just look at the preferences alone. When you put in a search term, it will take you to this page. So if you want to set preferences, that's on the second screen, this screen that I'm showing you now. And it's where these words are. If you tap that, then this bottom half of the screen comes up. So in this search that I've got, I have the format set to audiobooks. You can also have it set to ebooks or magazines or everything. I leave the language on English, but they have several languages, so you can choose lots of different ones, or you can leave it on any language. The audience, you can set it to everything or also juvenile or young adult, the general content, and there's also mature content. Supports, I have mine set on Libby because I like to just use the Libby app. You can also set it just to show you a format called EPUB. It can have things that are only in PDF. There's one called Media Do, and the last one is Kindle. So if you have a Kindle and you really want to read books in Kindle, you can have this set to supports Kindle and it will only show you Kindle books. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how to set this up so you can read in Kindle. The availability is either everything or available now. Available now is good if you definitely want something right now. You don't want to look at things that are already checked out. You only want to look at things that you can check out today. So like if I was going on a long car trip, I would set this to audiobooks and I would set it to available now so I can see all the audiobooks that I could check out today. You can set several holds, and if you set a hold and you have too many things coming in at once, it will let you suspend a hold so that you don't lose your place on the list, but it will let the next person get it. So if you place a lot of holds, there are different ways that you can manage those later. This is the notification that will come up. If you tap that button, it will just kind of come in from the left, and then you tap the hide button at the top when you're finished with it. So the top part is just notifications about books that it has checked in. When you get to the due date, if you haven't told it to turn the book in, it will turn it in for you. If you tap the words Kentucky Libraries Unbound under Kentucky Libraries, that will take you back to the home page. If you tap the words One Card Plus, yours may have 2 cards or something like that. Like if you have more than one library card in there, it won't say 1 card. But if you tap that, it will show you an icon of your library card or cards. And then you can see how many checkouts or how many holds you have left. Then this is where you can get some help. Take a survey if you want. And in the next slide, I'm going to show you what the settings look like. So if you tap on settings, it brings you to this. And if you don't want to mess with the settings, you don't have to. But if you want to use a Kindle and you know that that's all that you're ever going to use, you can go here to where it says read books with. And you can change that to Kindle. So if you check out a book that is for Kindle, it's more than one step, and it can seem a little bit tricky at first, but once you get used to it, it's really not hard. It's better if you have this, if you do it on a desktop, or if you have a browser where you already have your Kindle information logged into Amazon. So if you check out a book that's Kindle compatible, it'll ask you if you want to send it to, if you want to send it to Kindle, and this will take you to your Amazon account. And then it will ask you to get this library book. It's a big button up close to the top of the screen. And then when you click that, it will put it in your Kindle library. So then when your Kindle syncs, it will download that book for you. The only tricky thing is if you don't know your Amazon password. So if you get logged into Amazon before you start checking books out, then it's a really smooth process, and it'll take care of it for you. And once you've done it a few times, like I said, it's really not hard. Another thing that you might want to look at is change download rules. You can set that so that it only downloads when you're on Wi-Fi. So if you are browsing around, like when you're at the grocery store and you download a book, if you have that set to only download on Wi-Fi, if you're on your mobile data, it will just wait until it logs into Wi-Fi again. You can also choose a language, and you can play with some of these others, but there's nothing on here that you have to adjust. It's just if you want to. Now I'm going to show you what using Kentucky Libraries Unbound looks like on a desktop. And even if you have the app on your phone or your tablet, I think there's a good idea to get used to using this sometimes, because you can get on desktop and browse around. And if you're using it with Kindle, you may not even want to use the app unless you're using it for audiobooks. So this is our library website, mclib.net, and we have a Kentucky Unbound link right here on the first page. So when you click to that, it brings you here. I have already logged in, but if you haven't logged in, where it says my account, it'll have a sign in button. It looks quite a bit like the app. If you scroll down, there will be different collections that you come across. The waitlist means that this copy is checked out, so you would have to place a hold. If it's not on waitlist, it says available. One difference between this and Hoopla is that Hoopla sells the library a one-time license, so that's why you don't have to put things on hold there. And with this, we have a set number of copies, and we have to do them one page at a time, and that's why you'll have a wait list. If you see one that you like, just click on it, and you can read a sample, or you can listen to a sample if it's an audiobook, and then you can decide to borrow it. or you can make a wish list, or you can use their tags if you wanted to keep lists. Like you could keep a list of biographies or sports or whatever you want to call it. And if you scroll down, it will just tell you a little bit about it and some other things that you might like if you like that one. Some of these are in several formats. This one's in Kindle format and the Overdrive Read and EPUB. EPUB means that it will pretty much go with whatever e-reader you want to read it on, but Kindle is the one that can only be read on a Kindle or a Kindle app. And Overdrive is the name of their app that they are phasing out. I want to show you what it looks like to get a Kindle book. So there's different ways of doing that. If you want to, you can go to search and advanced search, and you can change the format here to Kindle book, or you can go to their Kindle books heading up at the top. So I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to go to audience, and I'm going to look and see what they have for kids, and I'm going to change it to available now. And when you see one that you like, click on it, and when you borrow it, the borrow may be on 14 days instead of 21 days. I usually change it because if you get done with early, you can always return early. But if you put it on 14 days and someone else puts a hold on it, you can lose it. And then when you click borrow, this is where it gives you the opportunity of putting it into your Kindle. So I'm going to click on that. Now, I'm not signed in, but if you have your Kindle information, you just sign in to your Amazon here, and it would take you to a page where it says get this library book. It would already have the title entered. And when you click get this library book, it's like checking it out from Kentucky Unbound or buying it with a one click, but you don't have to pay for it. It just puts that in your queue, and then the next time you sync your Kindle, you've got that book ready for you. So it's pretty easy. The only thing that is tricky is if someone doesn't know their Amazon login information, but if you're doing this on your home computer, your computer might remember it. And it does get easier after you've done it a couple of times. There are other headings up here are subjects. That can be a good one. Like if you know that you want to read mystery, but you don't really have one in mind, you can click on that and it will show you all the mysteries. And you can go by different formats. And then collections is something that they'll change out, like most popular, they'll update that all the time. New books, of course, they update that all the time. So if you are browsing and you think I've seen all this before, you can go to new ebooks and see what's new. I like available now. Sometimes I don't want to put a hold on anything. I want something to read that day, and I don't want to see all the titles that I can't get, so I'll just go straight to available now. Makes it a little bit easier. And then they have kids and the magazines. So it's pretty easy to use on desktop. If you can't put Libby on your phone or your device and you still want to use this, there may be some different workarounds, but using it on the desktop is probably the easiest thing to do.